Hello Physical Fiends, it is Jordan here with some nice discounts that have caught my eye. All prices are correct at the time of me making this video, and all of them are linked down below in the description and pinned comments. And as always, these are based on prices, not necessarily the quality of the game, because there are many different kinds of collectors out there, and I can't just cater to one. So let's see what I've seen. Starting with VGP, who have free worldwide shipping on orders over 75 Canadian bucks, like 55 American dollars. Trails in the Sky, first chapter, the standard edition on both Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 5 is down to $39 US, which is a pretty sweet deal in my opinion, and the best way to jump on board if you're readying yourself up for the second chapter, which is coming this September. You'll have just enough time to cram this massive, lavish remake of a JRPG classic in your life. Do it! Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. Speaking of remakes of a JRPG classic, the first part of the remake trilogy is $18 US on PlayStation 5, and this is the Intergrade edition, which includes the DLC story content, which I've still not got to. I need to remedy that. But contrary to a lot of opinions, I loved what they did with this remake of the first section of the game, and yeah, the original is my joint favorite game of all time, and this delivered in my opinion, and $18 is an easy purchase. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. The sequel isn't that much more pricey, $21 US. This went open world, maybe a little too busy in certain areas, but that's just what open worlds tend to be these days, a bit too busy. But I still really enjoyed it, and if you don't own these two, then maybe you should do, because the third and final part is coming early next year. Get ready for the reunion. Star Ocean, the second story R, is down to $28 US on Nintendo Switch and $21 on PlayStation 5. And as a reminder, despite the box art saying download required, it is not required. Okay, there are updates, but it's not mandatory. And this is kind of a 2D HD remake of a sci-fi RPG. If you recently picked up a limited runs version of the first game and wondering how the series went, well, this will be your next step. Dragon Quest VII Reimagined has only been out like a couple of months, and I believe this is the first discount it's got. It's down to $42 US on Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 5, and I guess Nintendo Switch 2 is a game key if you're desperate. But yeah, another fantastic remake of a troubled but well-loved game. They've apparently cut places where it needed to be cut. If you've been waiting for the first sign of a discount, well, here you go. Everybody's Golf Hot Shots. This did not get a physical release in North America, but VGP have the European physical in stock and nicely discounted. $21 US on Nintendo Switch and $17 on PlayStation 5. If you have been missing out on golf, you thought the Mario one was a bit naff, well, look at this. Alright, I will link all of VGP's sales below for you to peruse, but let's move on to P&P games. A couple of things caught my eye over there. Tales of Xillia Remastered, the latest Tales port, at least one that's actually out at the time of making this, is down to a very nuts $18 US on Nintendo Switch. That just feels kind of wrong. It feels too soon to be that cheap so quickly, but hey, JRPG collectors, pay attention. Pac-Man World Re-Pac 2. This has been cheap before, but you know, at $18 US, it seems like a steal. A remake of a 3D platformer that many people will be nostalgic for during the second wave of 3D action platformers. I've never played this one, but if it's anything like the first game, it will be surprisingly good and charming. Alright, moving on to Loot Box Gaming. They have a clearance sale through to June the 28th, and I have got something special for you guys, like from me to you. Yes, this is a Physical Paradise special. If you click my link and you have an order that is over $100, you can use my discount code PARADISE to get 5% off. I have linked to all of their discount games, but here are some of my picks. Mio, Memories in Orbit, oh yes, the best value proper Switch 2 cartridge is now a bit cheaper. It's just $25 US on Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2. And I am pretty sure Lootbox won't be earning anything from this game. It's definitely one to get, you know, more eyes on the store and hopefully let people pick up a few other things along the way. And fair enough, they're a new company and they want people paying attention. So make the most of it, pay attention. A Metroidvania and a wonderful cheap proper physical to add to your Switch or Switch 2 proper physical collection. Ariana and the Elder Codex is another Metroidvania, and surprisingly a great one at that. I know many of you will have this already because I've seen it a lot in the community spotlight, but if you don't own it yet, then Lootbox will have it for $35, a small but nice welcome discount. Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly Remake. Sadly, this was a game key on Nintendo Switch 2, but since Lootbox Gaming have publicly refused to sell any more game keys than they already had, then they only have the proper physical for PlayStation 5 for $40. This is a pretty decent remake of a cult horror game. Personally, I found it to have problems with its balance, but I think they said they were tweaking some things since release, so yeah, hopefully my issues have been addressed and you're gonna get yourself a solid horror time. Hades 2, another Switch 2 proper physical at a discount. This is another small one, but Hades 2 is down to $40, which is a great price. This is actually a Switch 2 edition, so it will work on your original Switch console as well. So even OG Switch owners may want to consider this price. The Switch 2 physical is the only physical. Virtua Fighter II, a bit of a left field choice to end this section, but on Xbox, Lootbox have limited runs Virtua Fighter II physical for $40, which I think is a pretty good deal. I mean, it's an obscure release on an obscure console from a very limited print company, so I think the writing's on the wall there. Before I move on to Play Asia, if you are new here and you enjoy physical video games, you enjoy owning the things you pay money for, hit that subscribe button. It will be the best thing you do today, I promise you. Now, Play Asia. If you click my Play Asia link, then you can get 5% off if you use my discount code Jordan2026. But a word of warning, the code is a bit finicky these days. I don't know, they've changed some of the website, they've erased most of the content creators' codes apart from mine, but in doing so, they made it very temperamental. First, you must click a link of mine first, okay? Don't add anything into your cart until you click my link. Second, make sure one of the items is not in the clearance area or in the weekly special. And 3, if you start spamming my code, it will sort of time out for you. So if it says the code is out of date or something like that, just give it a bit of time and then come back later and try again. All right, TerraTech, wow. Play Asia are finally stocking this. Previously, this was only available at Amazon Japan, and so became one of the more difficult to acquire Switch import exclusive releases. But Play Asia, they have it now, and they have it cheap, $22. It plays in English, and it will be good for creative types. It's a bit like a Meccano, you build vehicles and stuff like that. Space Marshals Collection, another import exclusive release. I think this is a really good price, $14 for an import that has English and has a lot of content. This is 3 games in one package, so the bang for your buck is there. I don't know if the quality of the games are that good. I don't know, I've never played them, but if you have, let me know. Super Noda Game Party and World. If you want one of the most obscure imports, well, look here. This double pack seemingly doesn't have English support on the surface, but a viewer messaged me to tell me that actually one of the games included here was updated to include English. And I haven't verified it myself personally, but I will take their word for it. And both of these games are weird party games, maybe worth checking out at $15 US. Ender Lilies, Quietus of the Nights. This did get a worldwide release in some capacity, but Play Asia have the Japanese version, which plays in English for just $22, which is a very nice price for a very lovely Metroidvania. Rugrats, Adventures in Gameland, limited runs, rather random attempt at tapping into your nostalgia. For some reason, Play Asia have the European physical release of this for just $16, which is probably the price it should have been at first, and maybe worth a punt if you've always thought that there should have been a Rugrats game on the NES. Sparkle Ultimate Collection. This European exclusive title was supposed to be exclusive to Forever Limited, their website, which had terrible shipping options, and so they barely sold any games, but Play Asia are helping them out by flogging some copies of this for just $22, which for something as weird and previously a massive pain in the ass to obtain, that is not bad. $22 for a nice collection of peculiar but I would say intriguing games. Rise Eterna, similar situation here, but this is perhaps a more sought after title. It is a tactical RPG like Fire Emblem. I bet not many people have this in their collection, especially North Americans. If you want some GBA Fire Emblem type game, then look into this one, especially now it's more reliably available via Play Asia. ConnecTank. This did get a worldwide release, often been cheap in various capacities, but $8 for the Asian version. It plays in English and it's $8. $8. Chocobo GP. This one did not get a physical release in North America. It is a racing game starring Chocobo and, stuff from that sub-series, and it's pretty fun. It's also worth a punt at $16. That's what Play Asia have the European copy for. Autonauts. This also has a European version, pretty cheap, $11, very, very cheap. This did get a North American physical, however, if you're not fussy about your regions, then maybe pick up this simulation management game where you try your best for automation. Read-only memories, NEURODIVER. This got a worldwide release, but Play Asia have the Japanese physical, which plays in English, for just $12, which, considering how short this adventure game is, seems like a much more valuable price than what it was originally selling for. If you are a bit fussy about your game regions, like the cover and stuff, stay tuned for a little bit later in this video, since I have something else you may want to think about. Monster Menu, the Scavenger's Cookbook, an often forgotten NIS America game. For some reason, Play Asia have got the European edition of this for just $18, which seems like a solid price to add something interesting and unique to the collection. It's like a strategy game, but with cooking. You cook the monsters that you defeat and eat them. Nice. Hyperdimension Neptunia Rebirth 2 and 3. We all know Play Asia did this in English as an exclusive. They have an English cover version there. Many people, like hundreds of people, imported it, but to appease other audiences, they also printed some of them with a Chinese cover as well. They still play in English, so if you're not fussed about the language cover, you can get both these standard editions for $20 a pop if you want some cultured JRPGs in your life on the cheap. Our final stop is Serenity Forge. Every week of summer, they're going to have a different game or series discounted. This week, well, we have 2064 Read-Only Memories Integral, the first entry in the series for just $20. And this is considered the better of the two. It's more old school in its adventure game approach, and it is a bit longer. I love the art style for this one, pixelated goodness, some weird pointing and clicking mechanics, but you can't go wrong for $20. Read-Only Memories NEURODIVER. Okay, so I just talked about the Japanese version at Play Asia being $12. Well, if you want to have the North American copy, you will have to pay almost double, which sounds horrendous, but it's like $22, and you realize that it's not that bad actually. They also have the collector's edition for $50, which is a big saving on the original $100 price tag. Those are some discounts that have caught my eye. Any purchase made via the links below, I truly do thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I hope you all have a fantastic day. Take care.